Hi there, everyone. My name is Samuel Simmons, and this is my EDL 854 Module 11, Gifts to Students and Staff and How to Legally Handle Providing Gifts to Students and Staff from Building Funds. Hope you guys enjoy it. First slide is reserved for the proper procedures and the two ways of supplying students with gifts from building funds, and they fall under two categories: fundraising incentives and special achievements. For school fundraiser incentive gifts for students, the legal way to provide gifts to students using building funds is that for when there are incentives in place, make sure they come from the activity fund. For example, if the robotics team is participating in a school-wide fundraiser or they organize their own fundraiser, then the money from that particular fundraiser will help be the incentive for those students that are part of that robotics team. Designate only those students who participate in the fundraiser. So that means they have to meet a certain criteria. So you cannot use the money from the fundraiser to to provide incentives for students who did not participate in the fundraiser. Keep in mind that all gifts should be age appropriate, and that do not take away from the fundraiser itself. So don't affect your overall goal and your profit, by trying to provide incentives to students that go far beyond what you probably should. And just keep in mind, nothing should be favorable. Do not, prioritize one student over the other or one particular group of students over the other. So no favorable gift giving. Special achievements for gifts for students. So this one is obviously something that is very common in schools. You'll have particular groups, whether it's the principal's honor roll group or, students who've made A's and B's, or students who've made significant growth goals on their MAP scores or anything like that. And you want to supply them with special achievements for their accomplishments. This money, these gifts will come from the general building fund, which usually are monies that are collected through donations. For example, you have the athletic funds, which is something that I'm very common with as a varsity sports coach. We always have some type of celebration for our athletic teams in which they receive certificates as well as a letter and sometimes even pins. And all that money comes from the athletic funds that we get from activity tickets or things like that. We always make sure that it is cost effective rewards, and obviously, again, like we talked about before, age appropriate rewards for the students. So gifts to teachers, and here's our rule of thumb. And this was interesting to read. If the gift leaves the building upon that teacher, transferring to another school, changing jobs, or even being terminated, then that qualifies that particular item as a true gift. So that's just the rule of thumb for gift giving for teachers. More in-depth information. So special occasions gifts for teachers. That money, those gifts will come directly from some type of teacher fund that will probably have to be created. And that teacher, this fund is where money is collected directly from teachers or donations from teachers or families or even the community that suggest that they want to place the money be housed directly for the teachers. It's managed by a committee, maybe a group of teachers that will rotate from year to year or should change from year to year. All gifts that come from this fund for teachers for special occasions should be reasonably priced, and nothing should be favorable. So one teacher should not get something more expensive than another teacher. And again, that's these special occasions, obviously a couple of examples. You have wedding, childbirth, homegoing, passing of a loved one or family member of teachers. So for fundraising incentives for teachers, which means the teacher actually participated in the fundraiser, make sure that if you're going to have incentives for teachers, that they do actually participate. And for example, the highest earner from teachers, may receive some type of special gift. The money will come directly from the profit of this particular fundraiser, and it should be reasonably priced. And as the text said, up to about 5% of the profit. So all staff gifts. So everyone gets a gift. This is something probably very common across schools across the country, whether it's Christmas time, back to school, or end of the year. Again, all gifts to staffs. Those gifts come from, again, that same teacher fund that is money collected from teachers, whether it's a fundraiser, whether it's their donations or any other type of activities that teachers participated in throughout the course of the year. Money will come from that. It's very important to check your Board of Education policy on providing gifts to teachers when using the general fund. And this one was very interesting to read in our text. And I did not know this, that any cash or equivalent gifts that are provided to staff, are subject to taxation. So that is definitely something to be mindful of. And I'm glad I read that. That way, it is definitely handled providing gifts to teachers and staff legally. So special effort to support students and our staffs who are falling on hard times. Maybe it's just something that is just an unfortunate incident or something going on in their personal lives, and they need some extra assistance from the school building. The legal way to provide gifts to those students and or staff members. First thing you want to do is seek district advice on how you can handle and support that students or staff member. Remember again that any gifts that are going to staff members are subject to taxation, especially in this particular case where it's a special effort, it's a special event. That means it's probably something where the amount of the gift is going to be pretty significant because it's probably something where they fall on hard times or something happened in their family where they need, just some extra support from the school building. So just keep in mind that, cash or equivalent gifts will be subject to, teachers having to be taxed on those gifts. It also recommended in the text that the PTA or some type of organization, third party organization, manage and control and run this type of event instead of the building. So my experience in my previous job at Coronado Middle School here in the Kansas City, Kansas Public School District, we had a teacher fund account, a social committee that collected $20 from each teacher if they wanted to participate in the social committee and be a part of the teacher fund. And it just this was a yearly deal where teachers would donate $20. Some teachers would provide more at one time or progressively throughout the school year. We would just continue to make sure that our account had significant, a certain amount of money in it, to again support our staff and our colleagues, whether it was some type of bereavement, childbirth, again, those extreme measures that we just talked about with the special efforts or just special occasions. We have plenty of times where teachers were married, but I think more times than not, it was, childbirth. And we really wanted to, help support our colleagues and our staff members with certain gifts. So that is my presentation for gift giving to students and teachers and how to legally handle that process. There is my resource for this module. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care.